أتيلوخ دها أطرق داخي أتيلوخ هزتوخ كمن مخنية صلت خبق النوغ بصدري هرقدية بارك لي من خشد بشتا كلا خليتي دمختا ينرشتا منطي لي التخوش شبشو خد الفكر للشبير رمشو يا صارتني داخل عماكا داخل رازد
Shalom Alochun, thank you for joining us today. My name is Lynette Vardeh, and today with me I have Fred Elieh. Fred is here from MesoNight. MesoNight was last weekend, so Fred, thank you. Shalom Aloch, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Lynette. Thank you. Shalom Alochum Neunti Morabe. Lynette, thank you for having me here today. It's a pleasure to be here to talk about Meso.
Well, thank you, Fred. So I have a few questions for you.
Of course.
One question. So tell us a little bit about MesoNight, how it started, how it,
Sure. Yeah. MesoNight is an ingenious idea, Lynette. MesoNight started back in 2007. Tony Khoshaba was kind of like the mastermind along with Fred Elieh. And so both of these individuals, they were part of helping the Assyrian Aid Society of America. And so they came up with this idea of, okay, this is great. We're helping our people. We're helping the Assyrian Aid Society of America to send funds and, humanitarian aid to our people in the Middle East. But let's do something more. Let's take it up a level. And so they came up with the idea of let's also promote our Assyrian art, our culture, our arts. And so they came up with the idea of MesoNight, which is basically an opportunity for Assyrian artists to showcase their talent on the big stage. And so it started out low-key. I think the first one was actually in the backyard of a home. But nevertheless, it grew from there. 2007 and 2008, that was the big bomb. We had an event with Aushibet Segis and Walter Aziz and Modesto at the Gallo Theater. And that was what put Meso on the map. And so it's a great organization, the Assyrian Aid Society of America. And as I said, this particular branch of it, the MesoNight, is really the artistic branch. But they collect funds, right, through this artistic avenue, and they send the funds to the Assyrian Aid Society of America, which in turn helps our people back home.
Wow, that's really
very
exciting.
Cool. Yeah. I'm very excited to be a part of this organization because, as I said, you don't just get the opportunity to see Assyrian art, Ganan, but you also are doing something good for our people. So it's like,
right.
Why wouldn't you be a part of it?
Yeah, of course. Well, thank you, Fred.
Sure.
So how long have you been with the organization?
So let's see. I think I joined, and it's an interesting question, Lynette, because Tony Khoshaba came to one of our concerts when I was singing in the Nimba choir by Rabbi Nebu Isabi Alamanachle. And so after one of the concerts, this gentleman approached me. He's like, hey, I want to talk to you about this idea I have, and I want to do this. And I was just like, we'll talk later. And so next thing you know, we have a MesoNight who طلب مني بيت شركة جودة خورزة, and I was like, yeah, let's start. And so شركتي I think it was maybe 2010 or 9, something like that. And I've been here since, and it's just been great. It's just been excellent.
Wow. Well, that's a long time. It's like almost 13, 14 years.
Yeah. I took, I think maybe 1 year off because I think I was getting married. So, but other than that, I've been with this organization ever since. And every year, I'm very proud of what we do, and it's always enjoyable as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so I know the backbone of MesoNight is the team of volunteers.
Yes.
So how does one become a volunteer?
Oh, that's a very good question. This is we pride ourselves on volunteers. In La Viva, I think we would just fail. And so we are so blessed to have this group of volunteers that we have that are basically our, CITA, our committee. And then on top of that, we recruit volunteers. Every year we have a program. And so in order to become one, you simply just raise your hand, and trust me, we will find you something to do. And we would be very proud for anybody that would want to volunteer for this event. Yes.
Wow. Well, that's great. And so why does a volunteer like to participate?
I think it's twofold. One is they know they're doing something good, right, for our people. And two, I mean, it's not every day you get to hang out with some of our umane, whether it's, I don't know, Linda George, Ashrbet Segis, Walter Aziz, Talal Greish, Amanobet Yonan, Ogimbet Samo. These people are, very big, obviously, in our community and very influential. And so to be able to kind of just, see them backstage, and talk to them and once again, to help out our people at the same time, I think it's a unique opportunity. So I think that's why people want to or, come to volunteer.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's an exciting, place to come and volunteer.
Yeah,
and
there's a lot happening, you see a lot of people and so it's always also a good opportunity if you want to update your Facebook profile photo, or Instagram or whatever it is. It's always a beautiful venue.
Yeah, great. So Fred, tell us about some of the programs you've had in the past few years.
Sure. Lynette, so generally a MesoNight program comes in 2 or 3 segments. We generally have usually a choral or perhaps like a musical or a drama, and then we will have some solo acts, and then usually we'll have a pop act as well. And so in the past we've done everything from the first Assyrian musical, and that was Malik Rama, and that was in 2012, and that was groundbreaking for us Assyrians, to have a story told by Hannibal Al-Khas, translated into a musical that was composed by Fred Elieh and narrated by Rabbi Yosef Ben Yosef. So these are some pretty artistic people that started this, and what we did was we took it and we acted it out, so that people could see and hear. And so that was one of our biggest programs. And in other years, we've done the story of Vardeh, which was, related to the 100-year genocide that Assyrians went through. And so that was a very kind of a dramatic play that we did. And then most recently, we did Majnevta, which is a story by Edison Ebrahimi, and that was a comedy. It's like the first Assyrian musical comedy that we did on stage, and we got a lot of positive feedback on that. So it doesn't stop. I mean, and these are just events that we've done in San Jose, and we've done events in other places as well. So those are just to name a few. And of course, we've had the Mesopotamian Night choir ensemble perform a lot of songs in the past, as well as these pop stars that I mentioned. And so very, very nice collection of different Assyrian arts put together.
Right. No, that sounds amazing. And I mean, over the years, so many different programs, and they all come collectively in with all the efforts of volunteers and everyone.
Yes.
So.
And I want to put the emphasis on the volunteers.
Right.
Lepdani, we would be nothing.
Right.
I mean, that is, this program is built on volunteers.
Right. Okay, well, Fred, thank you.
Of course.
So I know MesoNight has traveled really well over the years. So tell us about other cities.
Sure. So we started, Lynette, and obviously Modesto, as I said, that was kind of like a backyard. And then we went to the Gallo Theater. And then we went to Mountain View in 2012. And then from there, we came to the San Jose, California Theater. And from there, we have gone to Chicago. We have gone to LA. And we have also gone to Australia.
Wow. And
so we have, visited Chicago a couple times, and as I said, LA. So we've been around, obviously, always have aspirations of Azach Dukan. Everyone's dream, I think, is one day to have a, program back home. But whether that will happen or not, I don't know. But until that time, there's a lot of other places that I think we can host shows and, expand this program because there's a demand for it.
That's great. So how difficult is it to travel this program?
It's quite difficult. It's quite difficult, Lynette. Sabab, we have volunteers, right? And so when you have volunteers, ala barakh you can't ask these volunteers to travel, to this place because you're kind of now, you're abusing your volunteers.
Privileges.
Exactly. So when we have a show, and we do it in San Jose, taking it to Chicago or taking to LA, the local volunteers over there have to relearn the program, which, not easy, especially if you have like a musical or something like that. You have to recast, all the characters. And so it's difficult. I don't want to say it's impossible.
Right.
There's just a lot involved. And, we've done it before, so I know it's possible. Actually, it takes a lot of coordination, a lot of effort to do things like that. Whereas if we had a traveling show and, whoever was here went to LA, you have a little bit more continuity and, less challenges. But of course, as I said, with volunteers, we don't have that luxury. And so it's challenging.
Well, that's good to know.
Yes.
Thank you, Fred. So what other things does MesoNight do other than major productions?
So we have generally an annual event, MesoNight, the event.
Right.
And then on the off time, we release videos of those events. We also do, we actually recently started doing for Christmas MesoNight productions. And also we just did one for Easter a couple years back. And these are cool little clips where we have some of our regulars, that participate in these MesoNight programs, and we invite them and we do Assyrian songs and Christmas. And so, we'll have like 5 or 6 different songs and we'll arrange them and we'll have people sing them. And it's a really kind of a nice thing for our Assyrian people to have.
Right.
So, Mengibet, you listen to American songs, you can listen to Assyrian Christmas songs.
Right.
And so it's something unique that we've started doing, and I think that's going to kind of grow. And as I said, we did the same thing for Easter. The choral ensemble actually got together, Lynette. This is in COVID, okay?
Wow.
And so, and we couldn't obviously bring everyone together because everybody was afraid. So Muvidlan, we brought everyone by themselves behind a green screen, in front of a green screen, and then with cool editing tricks, we put everyone next to each other so it looked like it was a choir.
Wow.
And so we made that video, and that was probably one of our most unique videos. But those are some of the things that we do during our off time, or when we don't have a program coming up. And as I said, I think that portion of Meso will continue. We'll keep doing some, cooler things, maybe rejuvenating some old songs and, bringing them up to date. That's just kind of, some of the things that we've been doing.
Yeah. No, that's all very interesting, especially to learn about all the other aspects that MesoNight has.
Yeah. It's not just, it's not just come to Meso
Right.
and, watch a show. We try to, if I had it my way, we'd had Meso 365 days a year, but we also need some downtime, as far as volunteers. And so these clips that we do now are just kind of something fun that we do in the background.
Right. Well, thank you, Fred. So how did this last show come to fruition?
The one that we just had.
Yeah, the one that we had last
August,
weekend.
Yeah, on July 29th.
Yes.
Right. So this thing was, I want to say, a year in the making.
Right.
And so once again, going back to COVID, Ashabet Segis is one of our most, popular Amane. And so, he initially performed in 2008 with Walter Aziz, and that was, as I said, Khahurza Yani Majabana. It just put MesoNight on the map. And so we then haven't had him back. So Shuv 2008 and now 2022, right? That's quite a few years. And so he agreed to come back, and but we were still faced with the challenge of, okay, he's going to be a MesoNight, but where are we going to have MesoNight? And we were looking for places. You know, we went to the California Theater. California Theater had all kinds of restrictions with regards to limited capacity, liyatan proof of vaccination, social distancing, and so we're like, oh my gosh, you know, this is not going to be fun for our people.
Right.
And so we came up with the idea of, okay, let's have it outdoors. And our committee, God bless them, you know, with such creative thinking, we found that this winery, Clos La Chance, in South San Jose, close to Morgan Hill.
Yeah, Morgan Hill area.
Yeah. And went and visited the winery, and it's absolutely, Lynette, breathtaking. And so then we had other challenges, because now you have a winery, but you know, what are you going to do for the stage, the lights and sound and things like that? So we had to bring all that to the winery.
Wow.
And so, and then of course there was, you know, working with Asher Betsegis, working with his musical director, Nina Farsanis, which was an absolute pleasure. And we put together, you know, a list of the songs that we wanted to play. We put together a band. And the unique thing about this particular event was it was unplugged. And so not one instrument on that stage was using an amplifier or was an electronic instrument.
Wow.
Everything was unplugged, meaning it either had a microphone, you know, in front of it, or it was vocals. And so that was something unique that we've never done before. And as I said, Asher Betsegis and Nina Farsanis, his musical director, were open to it. And Nina Farsanis is actually the person that suggested it. And so we went with that. We went with that, and the rest is history. I mean, the crowd absolutely loved it.
I was one of them.
You were one of them. And so I just hope we can do it again, because there was so much energy and excitement at that venue that night. And our people, our supporters, were absolutely phenomenal in their reception of this. You know, keep in mind, they also hadn't attended a MesoNight event in 3 years. And so they were very eager to come and support the cause and also see Asher Betsegis. And so it took a while, but we got there. We finally got there.
Wow.
يا صرابي كاتيلو ضاعت داخي وتمطيلو نغزتك من مكنية صوت خبتنو بصدري هرقانية طارق في من خشة فرشتة كان خليتي مختايا برشتة ممضيني القوة بالشمشم خد الفكر بالشبيد رمشو.
it's great to hear that. I mean, especially coming back after a long hiatus, right?
Yeah, and it's always tough, right? It's always tough because, each year we kept thinking, oh, maybe this year, we're going to do Meso, and then, all of a sudden, COVID, this variation and that variation, and so we were met with a lot of challenges. But give it up to our committee who just sat and said, okay, let's think outside the box.
Right.
If we have these restrictions indoors, let's take it outdoors. And
Right.
so it was absolutely ingenious of our committee.
No, I mean, I have to say this is biased, but it was one of my favorite Meso nights.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I can probably say the same thing. Of course, I say that every year about a Meso. I say this was one of my favorites, but this was definitely, it'll leave an impression on me.
Yeah, no, it definitely left one on me. So
good.
Thank you. Thank you to you and the committee.
Absolutely, and the volunteers. Yes, all the volunteers. Yes.
Okay, so Fred, what was the goal for this last show, both financially and artistically?
Artistically, Lynette, our goal is always to have a great show for people. And at this winery we had food and wine and a beautiful, beautiful scenery. Once again, as it was outdoors, and so artistically, we wanted people to have a good show, listen to some of Usher's most popular songs in a format that they've never seen before, and really enjoy themselves after, as you said, such a long hiatus. Financially, our goal is to pay for all of our costs and make enough money so that we can make a difference in the lives of those people back home who perhaps are not as fortunate ourselves. And I am ecstatic and very, very happy to report that after all of our expenses, Lynette, everything paid for, God bless our volunteers, God bless our supporters, we made over $100,000.
Wow.
And so this is money that is, after all of our expenses, that is going to go in our account and is going to be sent back home to do good things for our people. So which one was better? I'd say, they were both just awesome things that happened that night. We had people were just excited to just be there and help support the cause and obviously cheer on Usher Bitsege. So it was beautiful. Yeah.
Wow. So I think it's safe to say you met both of your goals.
Oh yeah. I mean, in my opinion, and then some. We always aspire, and our goal is always to make a lot of money. We wouldn't be happy if we just made like $10,000. I mean, for all the efforts, that we put in for that production, $100,000 really, really kind of, made us feel good. And so very, very, very proud of our committee.
Yeah. No, I mean, you should be. Committee, volunteers, everyone that put in effort. Definitely.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
So clearly, Fred, MesoNight is a really big production, right?
Yes.
So what would you say is the most difficult part about it?
Difficult parts, boy, this it's a loaded question. The difficult part is obviously there's some things, and whether they're difficult or not, they're challenges. I want to say it's not difficult. One is we have to construct a program, قناشة مغبيلة. So that's always a challenge. Always a challenge is what can we do different? We don't want to do the same thing every year. So so the people are like, oh, wow, I didn't see this last year. So coming up with a program, I think, is a challenge. A unique program every year is challenge. And then there's always, the logistics. As I mentioned, Ashita, we had to bring everything to the location. Whereas in the years past, we've been blessed because the California Theater has everything, has a stage, audio, lights, everything. But we literally had to bring everything to this venue. And so that was also another challenge. And then, of course, the environmental variables, khimava, oyuma. So, we sweated a lot. And then, in Berash, minbar sa'at utcha, at this winery, all of a sudden, the weather goes from like 80 degrees to 60 degrees. So there's a big drop. And so, people were kind of, getting a little chilly. And so, apart than that, then there's just the regular kind of rehearsals and things of that nature. But that just comes with the territory.
Right.
It's not anything I would say, anything bad. It's just part of the show.
Right.
And so, these are just challenges of any production. Of course, ours was a little unique because we were doing something for the first time, outdoors. And so, but I think we did pretty good.
Yeah, I think you did too.
Thanks.
And I think everyone would agree with me.
I think so. We had just the most awesome crowd that night. The most awesome and forgiving crowd. If they're in Itzva Basuriate, they were just like, hey, that's okay. That's okay because we know what the goal is here. We're having fun, and that was it. So they were very forgiving. God loved them. So
Right. Yeah. Well, Fred, thank you for answering the difficult question.
Yes.
So now we're on to the funner question. Which is, so what was the most fun part of MesoNight?
Fun part of MesoNight, I got to be honest with you, it's the volunteers. It's working with the volunteers and, putting on a show with people that, بلكي نسيانا لتلة يخاشولا, and, we work together, we come together. That is really fun. And of course, always, hanging out with some of these stars is very cool as well. And so those are very fun. And then the icing on the cake for me obviously is when you make that much money for such a good cause, that's just like, wow.
Yeah.
Could life get any better?
Yeah.
And so that's probably one of the funnest parts.
Wow. Well, that's very exciting.
Yes, it was very exciting. This year, Lynette, I think Sabab, it was a while. It took us a while. Everything felt so good and so in place, and everything fell right into place. And so, it was very rewarding, both financially and I guess emotionally for us to see that after 3 years, our supporters are still there, just supporting us every step of the way. So that was very gratifying. Yeah.
I bet. Well, Fred, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, we really appreciated this.
Absolutely.
I loved MesoNight. I had a lot of fun. I think everyone can say they had a lot of fun.
Yes.
And it's all testament to the committee, to the volunteers, to everyone that put in effort. So we really appreciate it.
Yeah, and hopefully in the next few months we will have videos of the program to be released on our YouTube channel, on our Facebook, and on Instagram, so that those that weren't able to attend, they can see how far we've come, and B, what they missed out on, in hopes of perhaps attending next time. And so we are diligently working on those, and you have my promise that in the next few months we will release those. So,
well, thank you. I look forward to seeing them.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you once again for having me.
Of course.
It's been a pleasure, and hope to talk to you soon again.
Yes. Thank you, Fred.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for Fred Elieh once again for joining us from MesoNight. Thank you to everyone watching for AGN. My name is Lynette Vardeh, and we look forward to seeing you in our next episode.
Raman Realty provides real estate services in Santa Clara, San Mateo, San Francisco, and Contra Costa counties. Whether you're getting ready to buy or sell, in the middle of it, or just looking for some answers, we are here to help. Our goal is to provide the best insight, tools, and deliver the best financial results. Our innovative listing plan benefits our clients by providing a full-service MLS listing without paying the high real estate commissions. Our home buying plans are also designed to pass huge savings to our buyers. To learn more about our special offers and services, please either visit our website, www.ramanrealty.com, or contact Raman Mirzapur at 408-499-8957. Email raman@ramanrealty.com. Pay the lowest fees, sell for the highest price, and net maximum proceeds.